With the rise of body positivity and strides towards self-acceptance, many have begun wondering if we're finally moving away from hyper-perfectionism and towards a greater appreciation of so-called normal looks.
I mean, I can't believe the impact my teeth are having.
But on the other end of the spectrum, we're seeing concurrent trends that suggest a movement back in the other direction. So what's actually going on with looks as trends? Is normal really making a comeback? And what does it all really mean for us going forward? Let's take a closer look. Clothing trends are one thing. Styles have come and gone for as long as we've been wearing clothes. But it's a different issue when it's looks, actual physical characteristics that are coming in and out of vogue. This certainly isn't new, but with the rise of social media, the speed at which people are able to encounter these trends has increased exponentially, as has the speed with which marketers have been able to make them up.
All right, people, we need a new insecurity to feed to the young girls of the world. What do you got? Facial harmony. What does it mean? It mean, nose good, eye good, nose, eye together, bad. I don't understand. It's perfect.
From facial features to hair types and styles, everything is fair game to either be elevated to coveted status or marked as something that should be erased. And which side of the coin any specific characteristic lands on can change in an instant. This also means that the people who have these features naturally come up against some major problems. If the feature is getting a positive spotlight, they may find that suddenly everyone is starting to have it. Even people who had given them flack for having it before. And they might even find themselves getting accused of faking it. Or in the other direction, they might be made to feel like a feature makes them inadequate, as if it's something that needs to be changed if they want to be truly beautiful.
Guys, she's got glasses and a ponytail. Oh, look at that. She's got paint on her overalls. What is that? Guys, there's no way she could be prom queen.
As we talked about in our video on curly hair, for example, while loose ringlets have come in and out of fashion over the decades, black women were long made to feel that they needed to fully straighten their hair to be considered pretty, even if it came at great pains to them.
Getting a relaxer can be very painful.
And you'd sit there while it burned in little bitty parts. And then she'd say, hold on, babe, just don't be tenderhead.
And of course, underneath all of these flip-flopping trends rests the foundation that is the fear of aging.
It gets harder each time to remember that you still deserve to exist.
Because particularly for women, the idea of beauty is so closely tied to youth, so many trends are born from a desire to keep connected to the younger you for as long as possible.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
What year were you born?
1977.
When did you graduate high school?
94.
When did you turn 40?
2017.
Junior high crush?
Kirk Cameron.
Prom theme?
Motown Philly, Boys to Men.
While men have a different experience in that they're generally allowed to age without comment and have things like dad bod, etc., they're not free from the pressures entirely either. Just take the push towards impossible superhero abs or the concern over height. The seemingly constant flood of information about things we should tweak or change about ourselves, little improvements that will totally change our lives, things everyone else seems to be doing that seems to make them happier, and so maybe make us happier too, or at least that's the hope. Dr. Gary Goldfield of the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario Research Institute told the American Psychological Association, youth are spending on average between 6 to 8 hours per day on screens, much of it on social media. Social media can expose users to hundreds or even thousands of images and photos every day, including those of celebrities and fashion or fitness models, which we know leads to an internalization of beauty ideals that are unattainable for almost everyone, resulting in greater dissatisfaction with body weight and shape. And in this kind of environment, it seems like no one can win. Even the most classically beautiful still have people searching for anything to give them flack for, from cutting their hair to toe thumbs. All of this can lead to a lot of stress over how to perfect everything at all times. A race to keep up with every flip-flopping trend, approximate the image that's currently the most desired, and sand away any part of you that doesn't fit. So unsurprisingly, many have grown tired of trying to keep up with all of this and the expectation that they not only need to swap out their clothes, but their actual human bodies just to fit in. This has led to an alternate push, one seeking to embrace themselves as they are. After years of ubiquitous, obvious plastic surgery that's main goal is often to make people look like real-life versions of social media filters, there's been a growing undercurrent of a desire to return to appreciating normal looks. This of course brings up the question of what normal really means, since normal is entirely subjective. But in this case, it seems to just be a general desire to see people who haven't completely altered their entire faces and bodies and haven't sanded down every single thing that might make them unique. This certainly isn't the first time the pendulum has swung in this direction. In the 60s and 70s, for example, as independent and art house films started to make their mark in Hollywood as the studio and star system began to fade away, there was a focus on real-looking people in real-looking places. Hollywood didn't move away from classically beautiful people completely, of course, but there was a clear trend away from the aesthetic perfection that earlier decades had aimed for in their makeup, hair, clothing, and everything else. Instead, more relatable, everyday people and places began filling up screens.
I feel like something incredible is really gonna happen here.
Now, again, after we saw a big push towards plastic surgery and augmenting your entire look into some desired, often actually unobtainable self at the beginning of this century, we've started to see another wave of pushback and growing interest in seeing people that look, well, like people. This is part of the draw of some sides of social media, that it gives us a window into the lives of other people that are quite like us. But because social media has now become a job for many, it's become overwhelmed with people and companies trying to sell us things, pretending to be relatable only insofar as it will enable them to make us feel like if we just buy or change one thing, we can be just like them. But no matter how intense the push towards perfection gets, there's always a thread of desire for the real that remains. While we can see the changes in desire for real versus perfect across eras, we can also see variations based on location as well. People have long noticed an interesting split between British actors and American ones, for example, in that the British actors often look more like everyday people, and the Americans are expected to look Hollywood perfect, unless they're deliberately making themselves look quote-unquote ugly to go after an Oscar. American actors that look like regular people are often put into the character actor category.
When you get to heaven, look up Margot Martindale. I won't be there, but my movies will!
We've seen this play out in a big way recently with actress Aimee Lou Wood. She first became known to audiences as Amy in Sex Education, but has recently had her big moment in the spotlight thanks to her turn as Chelsea on the 3rd season of HBO hit The White Lotus. Many viewers loved her authentic look and the fact that she hadn't caved to the pressure to replace her natural teeth with big shiny veneers.
Oh my God, it feels so lovely after a real full circle moment after being bullied for my teeth forever, and now people are clapping in an audience because I've got these lashes.
But unfortunately, the response wasn't all positive. There were, of course, people ready to mock her for her look, to the point that Saturday Night Live even decided to throw a dig at her into a sketch for no reason.
You all right? What's that?
In the fan response defending Amy, we can see how tired so many of us are of women getting mocked for just looking how they look. But the situation also highlights the double-edged sword all women, but especially women in the public eye in any capacity, have to contend with. As we can see with the issue Aimee Lou Wood encountered, no matter what look happens to be in or out at any given moment, women are often made to feel like there's no way to win. If they try to change themselves to fit in, they're mocked for being fake. But if they don't, then they're mocked for being out of trend or called ugly. Women are constantly pulled between the message that they're just enough as they are and the idea that they could be better if they just changed one or two little things.
If it's just for myself, shouldn't I be comfortable?
No! Put yourself first in a sexy way!
In adopting terms of self-care, a lot of push to change oneself has been able to be laundered under the guise of loving oneself. You should totally accept yourself, but why not be the best you that you can be? The explosion of the use of GLP-1 drugs for weight loss has brought this dilemma to the forefront of many women's lives. They finally attain the thin bodies society told them they should have, only to be met with complaints about other parts of them, like so-called Ozempic face. In 2024, an Allure investigation found that many plastic surgeons were noticing that usage of GLP-1s seemed to be rapidly aging the skin itself all over the body of patients. Cara Nesvig wrote, in her practice, Umbareen Mahmood, a board-certified plastic surgeon in New York City, has noticed accelerated aging in the face of patients who have lost a considerable amount of weight on a GLP-1, noting increased fine lines, jowling, preorbital hollowness, and crepiness of the skin. But skin changes are also showing up on arms, legs, and stomachs. TikTok star Remy Bader, who shot to fame on the app for showcasing what popular clothes looked like on an average woman's body in a relatable, humorous way, recently came under fire for concealing the truth about her weight loss journey. Fans weren't upset that she lost the weight, but more the way she went about it made it feel like her previous embrace of normal was only a cover.
She built her audience off of being plus size, relatable, and honest. Now it should go without saying that her body, her choice. She needs to maintain the relatable and honest part of her brand.
Because of the competing pressures, many find themselves trying to keep a foot in both worlds. To keep up with the trends, but in a low-key way. As Madeline Hirsch wrote for In Style, this desire for a more natural and subtle look is a key theme in today's quickly changing world of filler. These buzzwords are used by clients to describe their desired results, by practitioners to describe trends, and even by the American Society of Plastic Surgeons across all areas of the industry, not just injectables.
Wrinkled, wrinkled little star. Hope they never see the scars.
Dr. Renata Kalemsky explained, I get the exact opposite request these days. I want to look natural, and by natural, I mean I'm okay with people not even realizing I've had filler done. So instead of embracing actual normal, people are hoping to get to a kind of normal plus, where they can pretend they love themselves the way they are without actually having to stay the way they were born. At the end of the day, it's fine to change things about yourself as you see fit, as long as you're actually doing it because you want to, and not because you feel like you have to.
And I just always felt more inside than how I looked on the outside. So I really patterned my look after the town tramp. I didn't know anything about that part then. I just knew she was beautiful.
It's just important that people who do have influence are aware of and accept the fact that they do have that power to sway people's opinions of themselves. They can't just be happy to use their influence to sell everything under the sun, but then say, oh no, not this one thing. You can't be influenced by this one thing I've done, just everything else.
Even if you don't think you're encouraging people to get this procedure, language does matter. Talking about how her eyes were really droopy and that when someone gets this kind of bleph, afterwards they'll look refreshed. What do you think that language says to people who are watching you?
So, is society really in a new wave of accepting normal? The truth is, it will probably be something that continues to wax and wane just like every other time it's come back in. What's actually different this time around is that we do actually have some control over the media we're seeing. We have the opportunity to actually seek out and uplift people who are really unashamedly embracing themselves and their looks. While we can't stop the barrage of media about what we should change about ourselves, we can stop ourselves from seeing so much of it. A 2023 study found that limiting social media use to 1 hour per day can lead to an improved view of one's appearance and weight. That's certainly easier said than done, especially when so much of our lives are online now. But even small changes can have a big impact, so hopefully together we can all work towards creating a world where we can all appreciate what makes us uniquely us. That's the take. Click here to watch a video we think you'll love, or here to check out a whole playlist of awesome content. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.